It's loose representation.
Yeah.
And we're off.
Just like that. Just sort of like a way to keep a sort of gist of where you could be in-game time-wise. Now, I believe, I mean, just based on that loading screen, do both of these guys have PS4 Pros?
I know Natty does. I'm not 100% sure on Mama.
Okay. PS4 Pro just sort of speeds up the loading times.
Mama does not. Mama has a regular. But yeah, it's not. There's not too much difference as far as IGT with a Pro versus a regular, but it does help with load screens. Definitely better RTA wise.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get by the first boss, the Clinic Wolf. You'd be surprised at how many runs this guy has killed.
How many world record pace runs this guy is killing? Come on.
I mean, they're all world record start, right?
Exactly. Looks like Mama's having some wolf memes, but nothing to, oh.
Ooh.
Oh, no, Mama.
That was interesting.
Ladder, little
She like fell
ladder
down
memes.
like she got knocked off the ladder there, but I don't even look like she made the climbing animation. That was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't see the climbing animation, but I definitely saw the trip.
Very nice. So, first things first, you get into the dream. Pick up two weapons. Normally, you're only supposed to hit one, but we're fast, and we hit the button faster. Then we grab the gun, and instead of going back to the tombstone, we use our bold hunter mark, and it takes us right back to the first lamp that we've collected, which is the one that we had bring us to the dream. So that's a little bit of fast strat for you.
We just drove right back to that central Yarnum lamp, and then we'll just continue on with the run. Now, I'm curious as to if both, one or the other, or neither will try sewer skip here.
Oh, I can guarantee you that they'll both at least attempt it.
Eddie's coming up soon. I mean, those boxes break. That's a Monka S.
It's not too bad. I mean, sewer skip saves roughly 40 seconds as opposed to running through, and while it's definitely a nice quick time save early on, it's not 100% necessary because, like we said, this is a long run, and a lot of things can happen. You can lose or gain 40 seconds in a lot of different spots.
Mm-hmm. Looks like Mom
is electing not to try.
Opting to run through the sewers, which, I mean, is not... I mean, you'd just be running the risk of breaking the boxes or not getting sewer skip, which is...
One benefit, besides, of doing no sewer skip, is you do take less fall damage, thus you don't have to heal as much, thus you'll have more heals for later on in the run, and including gas coin. Because normally, the normal run, you usually have about 3 to 4 vials when you walk into gas coin. If you don't get hit, that is. And but running through the sewer, you can have a little bit more health when you walk into the gas coin fight. And Natty just enters. General strats to come up here on the stairs. The reason the speedrunners do that is so his gunshots have strange trajectory on the stairs, and a lot of times when he shoots, they will miss you.
Sort of slope of the stairs kind of throws off the accuracy and trajectory, like you said.
But if I'm being truthful, there's some strange physics that go on in those stairs.
Oh, Natty. Natty's getting some...
Natty, he's in survival mode now.
He's in final stand. Oh, there we go. Nice back.
And there we go. That's gas coin.
Nice.
Mama is just now entering.
Yeah, that was a good first and second phase from Natty on the gas coin fight.
Yeah, gas coin did a kind of an instant. He came out of his transform instantly and started attacking, which is not something you ever want. Hmm.
Oh, I don't think oh no, she did. She just had her hunter mark equipped.
Now I kind of see why Mama took the sewer route, because she actually did not get the cane to start off, so she had to go and grab the badge, which allows you to buy it later. Mama's got Gascoigne's second phase. This is very scary phase if you
Yeah,
cannot bypass it.
Gascon's second phase is a lot more range than say the first phase. And yeah, as you can see right there, the plunge. Just you wanna get through this phase as fast as possible if you can. A nice parry right there too by Mama, and this should, with a Molly here, get him to transform.
She gets the double damage, Molly. Very nice.
And oh Mama, survival mode,
Take this.
and
All right,
just like that,
nice finish.
nice.
And Natty has just gone through the dog gauntlet. He has picked up some fire paper from our best friend Alfred.
Alfred's always there, man. He's a good fellow.
You know, it would be nice if you just kind of tossed it down off the steps there, and so we wouldn't have to go all the way around. But
I mean, yeah.
you gotta do what you gotta do.
You can only ask so much of the man.
I just want to know where he puts that fire paper, because I mean it's on fire and it's paper and it's in his pocket. How's he not on fire? See what I mean?
One of the seven wonders of the world, right there.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Natty's on his way down to Old Yarnum. Just a quick vial, and we'll see if which version of Old Yarnum skip he'll attempt to try. I would assume he'd probably do the safer plunge strat, but we shall see. This skip has many different variations as far as
Many
setups.
different variations. Got the
The old new.
yeah, the 1.0, 2.0, 3.0, old new. Confused yet? Oh, looks like Natty's still got his notifications on. But we're gonna see here. You gotta jump off this rail. He's gonna do a little 360. Yeah, he's going for the. Oh,
And
tried to go for the safer
he
route.
missed the play. He fell off the. Usually, you'll get caught up in a little pocket there, and you'll bring up the quick menu quickly. Thus, if you fail to skip, you can actually quit out and have another try without either dying or falling to the lower ledge, where you'd have to be pretty much have to climb all the way back up because he did not grab the lamp. Ooh. And that's the bad thing about that setup plunge is you can occasionally, if you don't have the right lineup, you'll fall on the wrong side of the pillar, and then it's very, very unlikely you will succeed in the skip. I can tell you from experience. If you jump on, you can save it if you jump onto the roof, but
and
right.
There he gets it. Nice.
Very clean. Mama is electing to grab the lamp. And the reason being why some runners do not grab that lamp is so after killing BSB, you can mark out back to the Cathedral Ward, which you continue on to the Abandoned Hunter Workshop, as opposed to having to go load back to the Dream, then load to Cathedral Ward.
Yeah, and it looks like she slid off to the wrong side, which is not what you want. So she's just gonna quit out, and she'll load back in and try to redo the skip there, which is not too big of a deal. This is still very close.
It sounds like Natty's got a wolf on his tail. He gets by him, gets the marks. Should be a clear run all the way to BSB.
Hopefully, we get minimal amounts of Bloodstarved Beast memes here, because, I mean, as simple enough as this fight is, each boss in Bloodborne can really Really meme, yeah. I mean, there's not much to do if they just start acting up.
Yeah, it's usually consistent, but sometimes BSB tends to be erratic. Especially if, you know, at certain attacks he kind of wails back and forth, which makes it a little bit harder to get the backstabs off. Very clean fight by Nattie.
Yeah, that was a great fight.
And he marks back out to the Cathedral Ward. Now, it looks like Mama had completed the Old Yarnum skip, but I think she fell in between the collision.
Yeah, she
which
fell
is not
into
a big,
into the
infinite abyss. but
Infinite.
it's not a big deal. You can quit out, and you'll be right back up top in a safe spot where you can make a movement onto the roof, which she just does here and takes the plunge down. Except for, I think, the bad thing is it actually had made one of the wolves come out of that building, which is a little bit scary. Usually you don't have to mess with that wolf until after you run past the door.
He can kind of surprise you around this corner like he's doing, lurking just around the corner. Avoided well though, but yeah, you're definitely right. Usually you don't have to worry about that guy until you pass that little door and he'll burst right out.
And I had to uses his point forward gesture to make sure he falls right on the correct beam. That's why you always see them do that. You'll almost never miss the drop if you do the gesture in this little crevice there. Goes in here just to grab one of the first of 3 chords, which will let you fight the. Yes, it will let you fight the moon presence at the very end of the run. It's kind of funny though that they always say 1/3 of the umbilical cord, but this game actually has 4 instances of the cord. So I don't know who does math over at FromSoft, but
whoever's the head of the math department over From Software might need a pay decrease.
Alright, Mama makes quick work of BSB.
Yeah, another good fight.
And she's going to elect to bold mark out, which I mean, well, she's going to come back up to the old Yarnum lamp. And they have to
couple seconds
there. Well, I would say it would have been better for her to grab the lamp down below since it's right there. Save a quick load. And she probably will want those bold marks for later. It's usually, when that happens, it's a muscle memory thing, because when we do normal runs, you mark out of there 99% of the time.
Oh. Either way, she's headed to Cathedral Ward and headed to the next boss, as Nattie is entering the Grand Cathedral and about to face Vicar Amelia. Let's see if he...
Once a young lady, now a terrifying beast.
Looks like he's getting some good Amelia RNG. And by good Amelia RNG, I mean this fight is 100% scripted. If you mess up the fight, it's pretty much 100% on you. They're utilizing limb damage in this game, which just create different staggers when you do enough damage to certain parts of the boss's body. So this fight, Vicar Amelia, is pretty scripted. Not pretty scripted, 100% scripted, and should be 100% consistent every time.
There are little nuances to it, but pretty much it's more or less straightforward. And once you learn it, it's almost automatic. You might falter on a little every once in a while with the bad Amelia RNG, but like you said, it's always usually on the runner. And as Mama coming back out of the abandoned Hunter's Workshop, which is more or less a mirror image of the Hunter's Dream, which that's about that's on the lore side, which I'm not as formative on.
Yeah, me neither. Don't come asking me the lore questions.
You guys can read the item description in your own free time.
You guys want to go reading about how Garment's using the doll, be my guest, but I am not the person.
The lore is gotta go fast. That's exactly correct here. That's our lore. So Nattie's grabbing these twin shards. These are going to be needed for the next upgrade when he goes to the dream. Right after he gets this lamp in the woods.
Something I don't think either of us brought up was the ladder warp. Right before Amelia, it's sort of if you caught on to what they were doing at the ladder there, they're sort of tricking the game into thinking they're still climbing the ladder, so that when after they quit out after the Vicar and Amelia fight, they spawn back near that ladder. So it saves about 10 seconds maybe.
It's roughly 21 seconds actually.
21. So a lot more than I
Yes.
thought, and it's very simple to do.
Yes,
quick.
you can do it with any animation, taking out your weapon, putting it away, transforming it, a bullet, even a health vial, and it's kind of a pity that we can only use it really in this one instance. It is used more so in all achievements runs because there's a lot of ladders in the chalices, but yeah, it's pretty much only viable here in all bosses runs. And Mama's making quick work of Amelia. She'll just have 3 hits on the arm to stagger her once more, and 2 more, and it's done. Easy peasy.
Just like that. If you blinked, you might have missed it.
So Nattie's doing his first little foray into the dream. When we go back, we buy some more Molotovs. We sell the doll set, which we pick up in the abandoned workshop, which sells for 35,000 echoes, which is a pretty decent chunk this early in the game. Gives us some extra levels. We upgrade the weapon to +4 and slot some gems, which one we get from Vicar Amelia. A beast gem, which gives you, I believe, 12% up against beasts. And
I think you're correct on that. Yeah.
And right here, we're actually seeing Mama is actually electing to go to do early Hemwick before using said ladder warp. And Nattie just died to a bagman. Pepe hands.
Rip. How dare he?
No, don't go make fun of him. He comes out of nowhere, guys. Didn't even see him coming.
That bagman, you gotta watch out. They will get you. Oh wow, he's in Yahargul. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, but we definitely.
So, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So that is like, jokes aside, that is scripted death. So we can come to fight Parl early, and the reason we do this is so we can get bolt paper for Rom and Shadows. And it allows us to not have to do the Yarrow Ghoul skip twice in a run, which it can be.
Yeah.
If you don't, it can definitely.
It can be a little. Yeah, it can be a little convoluted, the Yarrow skip, but typically it's not too bad. But doing it twice, just trying to minimize the potential of losing time.
And Nattie makes easy work of Nattie, and again you'll see some of the stagger limb mechanics there, just unlocking Parl so he cannot fight back, because you don't want him to fight back. Both Vicar Amelia and Parl can be quite scary at low vit levels. It often gets sporadic.
Especially Parl. If Parl gets away, he's pretty fast, but let's say if he gets away, it's fairly easy to recover, but again, the speed just kind of is a nuance, annoying.
Yes. So Mama's doing a slightly different route thus far than Nattie. She went to go do early Hemwick, which allows you to actually get 3 extra bold hunter marks, which are more or less homeward bones, as you say, and lets you keep your echoes when you mark out. And she pretty much does the run up to the Hemwick-Charno Lane lamp earlier in the run. And so she won't have to do that after Lawrence. It's pretty negligible as far as if it saves time or not, but it is a little bit comfier because you get extra bold marks, which you can use to have get more level ups throughout the run. And Nattie's making quick work of the first half of the woods.
Everybody's
Pretty much-
favorite section of Bloodborne.
Yes, definitely so. Just grabbing some extra pellets, a quick some twin shards so we can upgrade later. Pretty much those two pickups are the only reason that you will not see hut skip normally in any all bosses runs. We have seen the hut skip in previous runs. Usually, if someone dies to shadows, it's more of an any percent strat. But yeah, so you come in and pretty much the whole run through the woods is more or less just pickups for upgrade mats, because it's actually quite chock full of them.
It's a pretty big area, but full of very fighter men that can give you a hit, waste a vial, and definitely lose some time. There's a clear-cut path that the runners take that is the best route, along with getting the upgrade materials and just the overall optimized path. But Nattie is coming up to the Shadows of Yharnam, which notoriously is a very hard boss to clear through in these speedruns, given that there are 3 shadows. You really want to isolate one at first, the one that's casting the fireballs. We'll see how Nattie gets on this fight, but you can see he's isolating just one of the shadows so he can eliminate one and get it down to 2. Easy math. Just to try and Nattie. Try and make it an easier fight for him. So he does get the first one down, and then he's gonna rinse and repeat for the second one, trying to get down to just 1. And then the last one just sort of AI derps, as you can continually R1 him out of the boss area, and a pretty good fight coming from Nattie on Shadows.
That was pretty clean. Yeah, there is a specific order we do them. We usually do the guy with his mace, and he does casting fireballs. Projectiles aren't fun in any Souls game, so that's usually the one we knock out first. Then there's the Katana Man, and then there's the Flamethrower guy, which is last. And that's because he is the one that has the most as you say, derpy AI. You can hit him once, and he'll always dash away. So that's usually why we do it in that type of order.
There is an attack we tend to want to skip on the final phase of Shadows that summons a bunch of spiders that we do not want. That Nattie successfully got past, sort of spawned spiders throughout the whole area. But there is one section of the map where you're completely safe from that attack, which is quite peculiar. But Nattie is already onto the next boss, Ram. I believe it was a successful YOLO round.
Yes, it was. It was successful YOLO ROM. Can be quite scary, running by that big bug with the fireball, as KC used to put it, the Bergenworth tanning package. And you gotta watch out for these little spiders. They definitely hit extra hard. They ate their Wheaties.
They've got their V8s, they've got their Wheaties,
Oh man, Nattie's got one spider still alive. That's actually pretty scary. Woo! He didn't get the final hit off, but that's okay. Yep. He should get there in time. Actually, he might have to mess with Rom a little bit here.
This is gonna be a little Monka-S.
Woo!
Oh. The
Calculated.
The clench.
Yeah, that's the reason. That is definitely the reason you want to kill all of the spiders before you start fighting Rom.
Yeah, and hitting the head does not do any damage. So you want... Whoa, Nattie!
Yeah,
He
having
is
Rom fight back's
poor.
never fun. Really, it's a common theme throughout Bloodborne. We definitely don't want the bosses to fight back. We don't want them to play. Oh wow, the double KO.
Damn. Sorry.
I'm pretty sure he grabbed the lamp. I'm not 100% sure, but if he did, it's not a big deal. But the one bad thing about is finding your echoes in that lake. So Rom is dead. So he did grab the lamp, so
Yeah,
that's
he
not
did,
too
but-
big. Not too big of a time loss. The only bad thing is, like I said, he has to find his echo pool within the lake, which is you'd be surprised how difficult it is to see.
Yeah, with the white floor.
And the one other thing is that potentially if it's too close to the queen, you will not. It teleports you out of the lake. You will not be able to grab them.
Yeah, it's.
He's on the wild goose chase now. I've done this before. I actually had a PB where I ran around for 2 minutes looking for my echoes.
If anybody
early
sees the
days.
echoes, just let him know. There they are.
All right, nice.
There they are.
And as he gets that, Mama's entering shadows herself.
Oh, nice. Give some good luck to Mama here.
All right, she got a pretty good opener. This corner here is where she's fighting these guys. They kind of derp out a little bit as far as their AI in this corner.
Also, by the big gravestone, they tend to rip over each other and really derp out.
All right, she's got to the final phase pretty quickly. Oh, and this is the snakes we were talking about, and that's actually the part of the map that you usually safe from.
Yeah, that worked out really well.
That worked out extremely well for Mama. Very, very clean shadow fight.
That was a very good fight.
Mm-hmm. And then she'll be coming up on Rom momentarily. She'll looked like she almost forgot to light the lamp, but she got it. Very nice. Nattie, DJNattie. Pardon me.
I've
done so many races, it seems. I'm getting confused.
Yeah, this is your third in a row, right?
Something like that.
So,
but
also
Nattie's
late.
just doing a quick run. We have to do a quick aside in Yarogul before we go on, to the next boss. We have to grab a key item, which allows us to go fight 2 more bosses later on in the run. And then you warp back with a bold mark, and ooh, the infamous camera reversal. If you go too quick on the on the quit out, you can accidentally adjust your camera instead, which inverting your camera in these games, usually when you're running from or at enemies, is definitely a scary moment. He'll have to heal up real quick, and I'm probably going to go ahead and kill these guys just so he doesn't have to worry about it any longer.
As Mama is going to Rom.
And as we were saying earlier about the real quick, why we do Parl early, this is the skip that we try to avoid doing twice that Nattie's doing, because as you can tell, it can be troublesome at times.
That grandpa in the wheelchair just he can shoot you off.
He'll one shot you if he hits you. It hurts at 10-bit. All right, and Mama's made quick work of the spiders. She's gonna do her combo, stagger her out of the teleport, get a little bit more damage on her. Very nice. I think she got a head hit there on the last one. Not a big deal.
Yeah, I think she did too.
And as Fump said earlier, this version of Rom, her head does not take damage.
I think that might have been a head hit because she was so low health. Just so happens to be
It was
enough.
pretty. Either that or she caught her on the neck. But it was very.
Yeah.
It was a little monka. But
Oh, Nattie just got big hit.
Nattie got hit with the corpse bullets. This is the one of the first gauntlets that's extremely scary. Because usually you're running away from them and they're shooting at you, and if you don't take the correct line, you'll have to do literally 3 vials worth of health just to get back to full. Because at this point we have a gem that gives us extra attack if we have full health. That's why you'll normally see everybody topped off when we enter fights. And one reborn. A abomination of a boss.
Continually dropping bombs, shooting fireballs. I believe there's 3 on each side. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like wizards, warlocks, whatever you want.
They're bell maidens, I believe.
Yeah.
Correct term.
Excuse my terminology, but either way, the fireballs they cast is very annoying, and just add to a lot. Nattie didn't get too many bones dropped on him though, so that was a pretty good fight. Pretty good fight.
Very nice. And now we warp to the lecture building. Grab that quick lamp because we'll need to warp back here later on our way to Amidala. And then he'll run up to the other side and on his way to Mensis and the second level up of the run. And Mama's at Yarrow Ghoulskip as well, electing to kill all these enemies so she doesn't have to worry about them shooting her in the back, because that's never fun.
And
yeah, she saved it. That's a scary. It's scary when you land right there because one false move and you're in out of bounds, which you can actually recover from. But
yeah, you can go around, can't you?
You can go around, but then you come into line of sight with about 3 of these corpse.
That's
corpse
right.
boxes.
Isn't the Tawny Tress over there?
Mm-hmm. And it's you don't want to aggro them. You have to run through a gauntlet of them later anyway, so you don't want to aggro any more than you have to. Yeah. And you'll usually see a lot of different lineups as far as how people run this gauntlet. It's kind of by comfort, really. And we go into this little cave as Mama just picked up a gem. We'll be slotting that later on for more damage. All the weapons, if you don't already know, once fully upgraded, have 3 slots we can put gems into, and there's 3 story gems that we go for, 2 18% and a 15, which will boost your damage quite significantly, and it makes it a lot more comfier.
Concern. And Mama's headed into one reborn. Yeah. Getting just about the same opener. Headed to the head. Gonna do some transform attacks. Heal up to get the full power of the gem. Of course, get hit by a load of fireballs.
She actually had a 3-hit opener, which is kind of actually not as good because you actually lose a little bit of damage. She's getting a lot of corpse drops, which is very unlucky. It looks like she's electing to go to the back leg. You can get a stagger on it as well.
Oh, Mama. Oh, get out of there. And, oh. Nearly close.
Oh, did she double KO with him? She did.
Did she?
She did. So she won't have to. She won't have. Yeah, she did get prey slaughtered and got the yellow backbones. So she will not have to fight him again, but she will have to run through the area again, and hopefully be able to pick up her pick up her echoes before if she does not die on the way back there.
Yeah, this would be a horrible time to lose her echoes.
There are, since she grabbed those extra bold marks, she could recover if she does lose them, but I don't foresee her losing them. Wow, we've already had 2 trades today. That's actually kind of wild.
Yeah, that's quite peculiar.
No, you don't get as many trades normally in these games. Mama's
What was
electing to grab
the
this. She's gonna go the back way, so she doesn't have to run through the gauntlet again. There's a little side way you can go here, which you can jump into this bath, and it'll teleport you. Pretty much, you'll be able to traverse the level and drop in behind all of those corpse things which she ran by earlier. And it's pretty much a little bit easier and less risky method.
comfier path?
Very much comfier. And Natty's on his just about to make his way to Mikolash, one of our favorite memers of the run.
As I like to say, meme Kalash. He just
Some say cause, some say memes.
Some say cause and some say cosmos, right? But in this case, we skip that cutscene.
Alright, and he got what we call the Swedish luck.
Nice, nice, nice.
And he's electing to do a little bit more riskier strat for the opener. He's going for 3, pretty much you can aggro Mikolash by 3 hits of damage. And if you hit him, that'll aggro him, and so he does not go back into that room and you don't have to draw him out. It's a little bit faster. The only risky part is you have a tendency to aggro those puppets towards you if you don't take care of them. But it actually worked out for him, so that's nice. Then mid-fight, gonna go down here and collect some upgrade materials right in the middle of the boss fight. No breather.
And then some vials as well. A good amount of vials too. 8, I believe it was.
I believe it's 6.
6.
Something like that.
Still a
counting?
sizable amount.
No, and to be honest though, in this run, there's only one scripted instance where we actually buy vials. The rest are picked up within the run. So a lot of times, you'll see guys pick up those because I mean they're right there on your pathing already. You don't really lose any time to pick them up. All right, very clean by Natty. Get the plunge and doesn't allow him to get into his comfy room. And very easy. One thing of note that I don't think we have mentioned in any previous things is a lot of times when players will enter boss arenas or in scripted cutscene instances, you'll see them transform their weapon. The reason we do that is because it actually, if you do not, you'll actually get slowed. There's like 2 running speeds in the game. When you initially start, which we kind of call like a slow run or slow jog, and then you'll see a full sprint. If you trick your weapon as you're entering a cutscene, you'll actually keep your full sprint. So it's a little bit of a time save. If you do it in every instance, it saves you a little bit of time throughout the run. And you do see a cutscene at the end of Mikolash's after you kill Mikolash, and that's why you'll see him. He saw Natty do that there. And then Natty, making just a quick aside, has to again grabbing another gem. This is the last gem that we'll grab throughout, or no, excuse me, not the last gem, but second to last gem we grab throughout the run. That's actually a special one. It's a droplet gem. Each gems have shapes, which is waning. There's circle, square, triangle, something I don't know. But more or less, that one can actually go in any slot, so it's actually extremely valuable.
I think it's
for
like
casuals.
Radial, waning, circular, droplet, I believe, and then there was one other one.
Yeah, you'll definitely hear more about those types of things with people who do chalices. Unfortunately, we don't do chalices in these runs, so we'll leave that for another day. One thing of note, Nattie's do on this route right before Wet Nurse. A lot of times, us runners try to use specific pathing to actually get those those shadows, reuse shadows, and the pigs to fight. Anybody who's echo farmed usually has come to that area to do echo farming. It's probably the most profitable in the base game. And we actually do kind of use specific pathing to try to get some echoes so we can actually gain one extra level up. And entering Wet Nurse, which is the final boss of the base game. Alright, what would be any percent, rather?
This nightmare as well. At the end of this boss fight, you'll see Nightmare. Murgo's Wet Nurse, the nurse of the infant Murgo.
Nettie gets a teleport. You never want to see those.
What you really don't want to see,
Ooh.
the Nightmare phase is not fun, especially in speedruns. Oh, Nettie. Oh.
Nettie got a haircut.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. I don't know what the last lamp. Yeah, it might have been the one after Mikolash, I think.
He does grab that. That's the yeah. That one's a scripted one. You grabbed that before.
Yeah. So he'll be going back there. It's not the worst run back in the road.
Probably like a minute or so.
Yeah, I'm thinking of like Canehurst. That's a
Very long run through. Well, while he's running back to Wet Nurse, we've got Mama just now starting the Miko fight. She's doing the more traditional walking back to the room to aggro Miko. Usually while we wait, we'll kill one or two of these puppets. One thing of note of these puppets, if you've ever played Bloodborne, there's the rally mechanic, which if you get hit or damaged, you can recover your health. Those puppets are the only ones that I'm aware of, that enemies in the game which you cannot rally health back from, which is it's scary because they can take 80 to 95% of your health, and then you can't gain it back without using a vial.
They can sort of that little tunnel area where Mama was fighting Miko. If you don't kill them, can go into that area and deal a lot of damage.
Very much so.
And he is just about to head back into Wet Nurse. Hopefully we'll get better luck on the haircuts this time around.
Yeah, she was giving him a haircut, and the guide fell off the buzzer, as they say.
She cut his ear.
He's gonna have a bald patch for a while.
Gave him the haircut your mom gives you. Buzz cut. But like both of these fights, Mama's trying to wrap up Mikolash. Looks like she's, and there it is.
Very, very nicely done.
And
that Mikolash scream. Very nice.
The pat.
All right, this should be about it for Nattie. Very nicely done. And the infamous camera shake showing us his true feelings. You'll see speedrunners do that, especially a lot of times when they cannot communicate and they want to show you how they're feeling. So, anywho, you'll see, you gotta wait and contemplate your actions. And then we gotta go on to the general filler portion of the route.
Think about what you've just done for a good 30 seconds. Allowed an infant to pass, killing us.
Alright, so normally in normal routes, if everything goes correctly, Nattie would be going towards Amidala at this point, but because he died to Wet Nurse and used an extra pellet, he's gonna have to go change the route up a little bit. He's gonna go do Cleric now, which probably means he's gonna get later on buy a Bold Mark so he can save some echoes later on in the run. And I say this part's kind of the filler portion because depending on how the first half goes, as far as your resources, and this is a resource heavy run, you might have to go change up the order to grab usually more beast blood pellets or stuff like that. But needless to say, cleric is going to fall down pretty quickly anyway. So a lot of people thought he was the first boss of the game, but he is completely optional. I know I thought he was the first boss.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this was my first From Software. So Cleric Beast gave me the 1-2 when I first came across him. But in this case, Nattie's about to just absolutely shred through. Oh, not as. Oh, you're the route change.
Well, I can tell you why right now. Why I'm doing as much damage is because normally after Wet Nurse, you're going to want to take your weapon to +9 and slot the rest of the gems. You've collected all of the gems, and I don't believe he did that, so that's why it took a little bit longer for him to do so. It doesn't lose. It loses a little bit of time. It doesn't make it a risky fight at all. But you'll see as he's going right now, he already realizes that he forgot to upgrade his weapon. And slots those 2 gems very easy. And Mama's at Wet Nurse at the moment. Switch over to her, and then Nattie's going to the woods, like I said, to go collect more beast blood pellets and grab the final piece of the cord.
Looking for a good fight here from Wet Nurse. Like I said, Nightmare Phase. Oh, please no. Oh, nice.
Oh,
Nice
he was about to cast the Nightmare Phase, and she actually staggered him out of it. Very nicely done. There's 2 ways to avoid it. You can stagger him out of it, which is, unless you're counting hits, it's very difficult to predict or be able to pull that off. The other way is you can dodge through the Nightmare Phase, found by Uldred, and and you just do 2 dashes as she's casting it because it's more or less an AOE, and it's a pretty nifty little trick. I didn't know about it until I pretty much started running not too long ago.
Nightmare Phase, for those that may not, first of all, there is as Mama waves hello to everyone, there's a second nurse that spawns, as well as a fog that appears, so it's a very, very annoying phase to try and get done quickly, because you're trying to kill the main Wet Nurse, as well as dealing with this shadow of Wet Nurse, if you will.
Yes, generally, if you get Nightmare Phase, you're running in a circle for about 45 seconds.
Exactly.
Which seems like an eternity. But
because that shadow will teleport to try and hit you, so you gotta watch out as you're running around the arena.
And Mama's doing the more traditional route, so since she still has one more pellet, so she's actually going to go to the lecture hall, which we grabbed the lamp earlier, and going to work her way to Amy G. She's electing not to do lecture hall skip, which lecture hall skip saves roughly about 19 seconds, which we on a first try. But there's a reason a lot of people call it lecture hall skip, because it's pretty precise, or so what some would say, luck. But there's there's an advantageous thing to going this way, though. You can actually get some extra insight too for hitting patches in the butt, and you can use that for more materials later on.
Definitely not the fan extra hall skip of all the skips.
It's pretty. I will say it's pretty cool when you pull it off. You feel pretty good. You're like,
yeah,
one of those feels good, man.
If you get a first try, good on you.
Yeah.
Feels pink, man.
Yes, and Nattie's he's at the final, pretty much the final little piece of the wood segment, which he's gonna grab this this final cord off of what is fake Osefka.
And then Mama is headed to Amygdala.
Yes, and she's about to do Nightmare Frontier Skip, which it used to not be. If you fall straight down that elevator, you'll die. But it was found by, I believe, Dank Oyster, that found that there's a little ledge underneath, a little rock. That if you hit that rock, you can do it with either like an R2 or a sit-down gesture. You will fall, and it'll lower your verticality just enough where you will not die. But that can happen. She lined it up a little bit too far to the left, I believe, and that's actually not a good thing, because if I had to guess, her echoes are going to be on that rock, which is extremely difficult to pick back up. And that's she had a lot of echoes there. And it seems like Nattie got first try lecture hall skip, as we were just saying. Very nice.
That's a very good skip.
All right, so this is going to be the issue here. I'm not sure where her echoes are. Seems like she's looking for them too. If I had to guess, they're out of bounds. Looks like she's killing this guy just to make sure he doesn't have him.
Yeah, I don't. Looks like she may have.
This is definitely not a position to be in for Mama. You can recover from this, but it's definitely a little bit harder. She's gonna be short on levels if she isn't able to recover these.
Oh, dang! She doesn't get the quit out on time, which is unfortunate.
Yes, and it appears
Oh no!
Mama is forfeited from the race.
Is that official?
I believe so. Nattie's approaching MEG, doing the Ivan Dallas strat. It's pretty simple. Makes quick work of MEG, which is a kind of early mid-tier boss with a more or less fully upgraded weapon and stats. You can kind of just knock right through.
And just like that, a typically hard boss is down in just a few hits. All right.
All right, so now that Nattie's already done all the other segments, so I believe he's going to be heading up to the Upper Cathedral now, which we grabbed the key earlier on at the very beginning of the Aragul segment. And we pop the very last cord as we're heading up the elevator and kind of make our way on up the staircase and fight these two quick bosses before we make our way to DLC. And you'll see him do a quit out there. There's like two categories in Bloodborne: partial quit out and no quit out. No quit out, self-explanatory. You're not allowed to quit out to reset enemy positions. Partial allows you to reset enemy positions and such, but it is not allowed to skip animations like doors or levers. Pretty much just a way to keep load times down for runs, because of differing hardware, loads can take anywhere from 30 seconds or more. It can really add a lot on RTA.
And big shout out to Mama as well, just before we go on. Just an absolute great runner. You guys can see in the chat. Follow Mama's. Just absolute amazing person, and definitely give her a follow.
Yeah, definitely what happened is not, it's a very hard hurdle to overcome. You pretty much lose dang near all of your money to do your final level up, and you'd be kind of limping along as on the second half in DLC. So to make it that far is commendable in itself. And Nattie gets caught by the doorman.
Awesome.
The bouncer said no. You enter it.
Did not pay the fee to enter.
And he's going to have to make the trek all the way back from the Cathedral Ward, because normally we do not grab lamps up in the Upper Cathedral, so we can work straight back to Cathedral Ward to enter the DLC. So a little bit of a run back.
And that doorman will still be there, waiting for him. Yeah, just like before, he'll be running through the healing church shop to Celestial Emissary. Definitely one of the harder bosses, Pepe hands.
You'd be surprised. Nattie himself, he'll probably be upset with me for disclosing this, but he has. I've seen him die to this boss before.
Nattie, how could you?
He's died to the jelly beans.
I mean, every single one of these bosses, has the potential to, kill a run, no matter where it's at. I mean, maybe some of them, it's very, very, minuscule, but each one of these bosses does pose a threat.
Except for Cleric Beast.
Except for Cleric and maybe Witches.
If you die to Cleric Beast, you'll have a spot on the Wall of Fame.
If you die to Cleric Beast, you're going to be on the Speed Souls main page. Post it up. I died to Cleric Beast. Enter username. To
be fair, though, there are routes, more so in any percent, that do actually fight Cleric as the first boss. So we'll see.
I've discussed with a few people, like, what if Cleric Beast was the very first boss you faced?
It's definitely could be possible, but to be fair, I think it's a lot more comfortable to hit him with 6 hits and kill him as opposed to having to throw a bunch of mollies at him.
I would have to agree with you there.
And Nattie just performing the orphanage key skip, that having to kill that brain sucker to get the key to get out of the orphanage. And instead of running to the completely other side and through about 6 other brain suckers, you just kill him through the door and save some time. And it saves roughly about 29 seconds to kill him through that door, as opposed to running around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there would be a whole nother ladder and enemies to encounter if he didn't pick up the cane and grab the key from that end of the door.
Yes. So, coming up on what I like to call the jelly bean boss, or goobers.
Or the little Squidwards.
Yes.
Kind of just bobble around, and then there's one of them who's the main boss.
Yes, he's in disguise. He tries to hide within the pack of sheep, but he's the wolf. And now he's a dead wolf. Easy peasy. And cool guys don't look at explosions, they shoot windows. Take that one home for you.
Back to the explosion. Vin Diesel style.
Yes, and at this point we're pretty much at the point where we popped through all of the insight or the madman's knowledge collected thus far on the run to get us pretty close to 60 insight, which is the amount required to buy the final upgrade material for our weapons. You can actually find one within the world, but it's a little slower. And we usually don't have anything to use that insight for. So that's why we're popping all of it at this juncture.
That would be right near what's it? Nightmare Mensis. The frenzy enemies are correct.
Yeah.
Down the path a little bit.
Pretty much, if we kept continuing on past where we pick up a gem by the brain ladies, that's where you'd run into the blood rock. But it's slower, so we don't do that. And Nattie making quick work of Ebriatus. Kind of a scarier boss if you do not stun lock her.
Again, another half scripted fight, but Ebriatus definitely has a higher potential to mess up your run. But if you stick behind her to her kind of fins, I guess you can call them, if you mess up the strat, you can stick to those and be alright.
I will say I have done a few like challenge type runs with like BL4 no buff, and I've never raged so hard at a boss as much as I have at Ebriatus. She's with low damage, she's akin to a DLC boss, in my opinion. She's because you don't see her attack in the speedruns, but she has a charge attack that many will say is undodgeable.
Kind of like similar to Ludwig's.
But after we do the Upper Cathedral segment, we walk back to Cathedral Ward and get taken to the DLC. That gives us just enough insight. We warp back, purchase all the last materials we need, which is more or less a blood rock, some extra pellets, and a blue elixir normally. And then we head on back. So now we are fully upgraded, plus 10 weapon, all the gems. We're ready to rock.
Ready to go for the DLC, which this arguably can be the hardest part of the run.
I could definitely say it's definitely one of the hardest segments of the run, because it's almost like a boss rush, and they're all quite hard difficulty.
They're all in sequence pretty much. Besides maybe this first run.
Yeah, the first little bit of the DLC is kind of boring. We have to we have to come and pick this eye pendant, which is a key item to allow us to enter the research hall after we defeat Ludwig. And then we do have to make our way through the blood river and onto a ladder with a scary hunter that likes to shoot it. And Nattie elected to pick up some vials along the way. There's quite a few vial pickups in the beginning of DLC, just warning you that you're probably going to need them.
Mm-hmm.
But these guys are all pros. Who needs vials if you don't get hit, right?
Gotta go fast.
And I'm just doing a quick quit out at the door. That way we'll reset the enemy positions, because the hunter there with his boom hammer, he will lay the boom down with said hammer if you try to go past him. And let me just say, it hurts.
Will be less than ideal. And like you said, quitting out just sort of resets everyone back to their
pretty much in all but DS2 and all the Soulsborne games resetting or quitting out and resetting will reset enemies' positions to their default, which is a mechanic that is used in speedruns a lot of times to get, clear pathing, get out of hairy situations, stuff like that. And upcoming on this ladder, this is actually, if you do not manage your stamina correctly at this portion, you will get shot off this ladder and you will die. Because when you get attacked on the ladder, you actually take stamina, quote-unquote, damage as well as health damage.
On top of the health damage?
Yes, you'll take health damage along with taking a cut in your stamina, so as it will. And if you hit 0, and when you're climbing a ladder, you will fall off the ladder. But the only two places you'll see it even prevalent is at that ladder and the tall ladder on the way to Ligarius.
Ludwig is one of the, in my opinion, one of the best overall well done game. In this instance, you're just gonna see the strategy very well executed by Nattie.
Yes, first phase pretty self-explanatory.
Getting the less than ideal opener for second phase, but he does get the stagger, and he should be all right. Yeah, he's good recovery.
Yeah, that was a pretty scary moment there, getting the backslash, but he recovered very nicely. Luckily, with the stats and the way we do the run, you more or less can stagger lock Ludwig. And besides that quick opener in the second phase, he really doesn't ever have a chance if you execute correctly. And upcoming, we're going to hit this elevator. This is the whole reason we grabbed that eye pendant earlier, so we can activate this elevator. And it looks like Nattie's electing to grab early skull. So, more or less, this is another key item that we need to grab within the run. It allows us to activate the Lawrence boss fight. In normal routes, we leave it till after Orphan, but grabbing it here early allows you to grab some extra lamps in the DLC, and so you don't have as far of a run back. Because, like I said, in actual run attempts, and you can reset. A lot of times you're just going for speed, so you'll just not grab any lamps until after Orphan, and that way you can mark straight back there and grab the skull. But in a race setting, it's a lot usually safer strat to be able to grab that early.
Race setting, you're not typically wanting to, go for that PP or world record. So you're gonna want the more comfier. Usually,
you're not peaching too much, especially on some of the levels that these guys play at.
Yeah.
And Nattie is he's a top 5 runner, I'd have to say.
I think he's third.
If I remember correctly, he is now 4th on the leaderboard. He got a 107.04 PB just the other day, which is quite fast.
Pretty fast.
Pretty fast. But he just performed another quit out. That quit out was found by Nems of DS3 fame. And we used to run through this area with a blue elixir, which still was extremely scary. These guys don't have eyes, but they can hear you from a mile away, and they surprisingly can find you quite quickly. They're like 100-meter sprinters.
Yeah, there are a couple instances here coming up. Actually, as you just saw, this guy especially do a lot of damage, and as you saw beforehand, even then he gets clipped on the ladder. But beforehand, the guy in the wheelchair who wants to gun you down, the guy's blocking the staircase. This whole run through can be a bit Monka-esque, if you will.
Yes, that candlestick guy before the for sure.
Oh, and that rat.
And he got the Nems rat.
Are there any KC rats up?
T-Dog sad indeed.
See. Oh, that's yeah.
Well, I don't believe he'll have to traverse all the way back up again because the staircase has not been lowered.
Yeah, exactly.
It has to usually finish the animation for it to keep the staircase in a down position, so he'll have to do this run through again.
hovering over the quit out just in case. Right there, that was a good quit out because those ads were definitely going to give him the swipe. Always a good call to quit out in case of getting hit.
It's pretty consistent, especially when you load back in here. These guys will you literally can stand there for however long you want, and those guys will not even move until you start walking yourself, or at least in my experience.
Sniffing you out.
It's pretty comfy, and that you can just kind of run by them, and they just don't even care that you're there. Luckily at this part of the run, most runners don't worry too much about their echoes, so collecting them back is not a big issue. But I will say that you gotta watch out for those rats up on the rafters. They're sneaky little gymnasts.
The rats and the guy with the candlestick right at the ladder are a lot of run killers. Kill a lot of runs, rather. I think the rat might have his blood echoes.
It did, and it actually fell off to its... It fell off, and I was actually curious to see if he was going to get his echoes
Maybe
back.
Maybe it didn't die?
I'm not sure. Anyway,
I don't know what that was all about, but...
He just had to go take a quick 747 flight down to land down under.
Don't start bringing up flights with me.
He had to catch a flight. Anyway, Nattie's entering living failures. Insert your jokes here.
Oh, it's getting late.
Everybody memes about these guys, but they can actually be as easy as they make it look. It's sometimes challenging because most of their attacks hit like freight trains.
Especially the guy shooting the orbs from across, that can really mess you up. But you can typically spawn and kill them, as you can see Nattie doing it here, right in the corner. Getting your beast meter up and killing them in 4 hits. 5. And that'll do it.
Easy peasy.
And then
he's gonna quit out before the door. And the reason we do that is because in this game you can quit out, and while you will not have an active beast blood pellet meter, you will retain whatever you have built up. So this is really the only instance in the run where you actually get you can carry over meter built from a previous boss fight. And it allows us to get through the Maria fight a little bit quicker. As you can see, he loads back in. He's still got a full meter. He has not popped a pellet yet. It's just working its way down from where it was. But as soon as he pops one, it's almost full already. So
it's lucky to keep that, because these boss fights are very has to be the 2 closest boss fights of the whole run, and being able to keep that beast blood pellet really does save. So it's using another one.
Yeah, it definitely saves a couple hits in this fight, as well as allows you to pretty much guarantee you to skip 2nd and 3rd phase, which is awfully comfy because those are the ones you don't want to mess with.
Having it full is very, very helpful.
And making easy work of Maria.
Mm-hmm.
Very nicely done.
And next up, he's going to take the dial and enter the fishing hamlet. Starting to wrap up the DLC portion of the run.
Yeah, just 2 more bosses in the DLC. We've got Orphan and Lauren left. We'll have to. Lawrence is obviously at the beginning of the DLC, but you have to grab the key item. Thus why we do him at the very end of the DLC.
Exactly. Orphan is a very entertaining fight. My personal favorite. That's because he casually he can really mess you up, but I just love the area. Orphan himself. I just really love the fight that Orphan has to offer.
I have to agree with it. Orphan is one of. It feels like one of the most balanced fights as far as just player skill, learning a boss. Almost every move he has a counter, and it's a pretty fun fight, except for the second phase. You don't want to see second phase because no one wants to fight that.
No. It was so satisfying, you know, for anyone who's played Bloodborne, finally taking down Orphan. Probably most likely culminating after multiple deaths. I know for me personally, multiple deaths. Finally killing him was very satisfying. But hopefully Nattie here will show you our strat of the backstabs and do quick work of Orphan.
Yeah, and he elected to grab that lamp just to be safe. Otherwise, he'd have to run all the way back from probably the research hall, because I don't think he grabbed the Maria lamp, or I don't remember if he did. But
no, he did. He did.
But he's going to save a running back if anything goes awry. And what you see him do there is a slope quit out version of the Hamlet skip, which allows us to pretty much bypass most of the Hamlet that's after the lamp there. Saves roughly around roughly 42 seconds. So it's a pretty sizable chunk that it saves. And you pretty much appear right here in front of the Orphan boss arena. And here we go.
Gonna see not much dodging, sort of wrapping around and trying to get to the back end of Orphan. And yeah, there's some right there, and then backstab. So that's basically what you want to rinse and repeat with this fight.
Yes, he's very susceptible to double backstabs, and it actually surprisingly builds quite a bit of meter. Backstabs do, charged R2s rather. And luckily, you can see him do a butt scratch. That's actually it's a strat. Once he's below about 60% or lower, you can actually bait him to do a jump attack and give you a free backstab opportunity.
Nice.
And goes to phase change, and this is at the very end. We'll just do some charged R2 to stagger lock him, and that's a wrap.
There's a more consistent way some runners likes to do with the poison knives. It's just a sequence of parrying, tossing a throwing knife, and he kind of puts Orphan in a T pose and gives you what, Peanut, 4 or 5 free hits on Orphan?
It's usually 5 to stack. The way it usually works is it'll take 2 hits on the first round to hit for him to come out of a stagger, and then after that it's every 5 hits. Or you can get 5 hits in, he'll usually stagger after the 4th. And roughly the reason is because I don't believe that FromSoft designed a animation for Orphan to be staggered out of a visceral state. And thus he will go into he'll go to a default T pose, or as you will, and gives you until you more or less break his poise. That's kind of why he doesn't just stay infinitely stun locked. Is that there's actually still the hidden poise mechanic behind that, and it's pretty nifty little strat. I use it currently. It's roughly, I believe, 12 seconds slower than a efficient fight as Nattie would have done, but it's a little bit more consistent. But you do have to execute it still. You still have to get the parries.
Yeah, the parries, there's some, I can't speak for you, some people dodge backwards, some people walk backwards. Which do you prefer on the parry for the poison knife?
I normally walk slowly backwards for a little bit, and then I'll backstep as soon as he throws an attack at me. And then it's pretty much just spamming the a bullet or parry and poison knife in sequence. But anyway, we're now on Lawrence, the final boss of the DLC. I can tell you this is probably my least favorite boss in my casual plays, and I can tell you that I was immensely satisfied when I learned about Strat. You do not even give him a chance.
No. In my casual playthrough, the worst attack that I just hated whenever I got attacked was when he like reaches into the ground and then rips his hand out. Huge AoE attack and just can demolish the hunter, especially in a speedrun.
Yes, and Natty's still at 10 base vitality, so and almost any of those attacks will one-shot you if they hit you. Thus, not letting him play is a good play to make. So DLC is wrapped up. We've got about 4 more bosses left on the run. We're going to have to make a quick aside to Hemwick Charnel Lane, and then Canehurst, right, Ligarius, and then it's just Gehrman and Moon Presence. Now you saw Mama earlier. We talked about early Hemwick. You can do this little run that Natty's currently doing, as you said, after Amelia, to grab some marks along the way. But most of the time, you'll see people do this route where you just do it after the DLC. It's kind of a lot of running at this portion. And while he's running through these on his way to Hemwick Lane, I'm going to make a quick shout out to Speed Souls. It's a group of passionate runners. A lot of us are part of it. If any of you out there are ever interested in running any Souls games, Bloodborne, any of the Dark Souls 1 through 3, Demon Souls even, there's a lot of helpful people in the community, and don't be afraid that if you are interested in doing something like this, feel free to join the Discord and ask questions. Someone will try to help you.
The Speed Souls Discord, and as well as SpeedGaming, they have been very helpful to us throughout this tournament.
Thank you, SpeedGaming, as well, for hosting this tournament. It's really been a pleasure to participate and commentate.
But if anyone is interested in running any sort of Soulsborne game, just like Peanut said, Speed Souls Discord is the place to start. Tons and tons of people who would be more than willing to help you, and just a great community to reach out to and get involved in.
Yeah, and you can usually find a lot of us in each other's chats when people are streaming, doing runs, and just it's a very, in my experience, a very tight-knit community, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of. But Natty's just still running through the gauntlet that is the Charnel Lane, dodging some dogs, climbing up ladders.
Dogs are notoriously the most aggressive enemy, chasing you down through loads of areas. Remember, if you think back to right before Old Yarnum, by Alfred, those dogs can get very aggressive, as well as these in Hemwick Charnel Lane.
Yes, I'm of the opinion that Miyazaki, the head of From Software, the developers, I think he had a bad experience with some dogs in his childhood or something, because there are nothing but
every Souls and Bloodborne game. There's only one Bloodborne game, but there's just these dogs that just so aggressive. You are right with that opinion.
Like you said, you can do that. Natty's at the Witches of Hemwick. Normally, you can come there even before Amelia, so you can do this quite early. Hence why you're tearing through them so quickly, and you didn't even know it was a boss fight. And the reason he goes up on that barrel and does a quit out is because that arena is technically a boss arena, but by elevating yourself off the floor, you'll be able to quit out and load back in outside the door, and it saves just a couple seconds, but it's definitely worth.
And then we will head to Canehurst Castle, the final optional area, which has quite the walk to the boss, but is just a beautiful, beautiful area of Bloodborne. I love the aesthetic and the whole Canehurst Castle. I think it's gorgeous. And Martyr Ligarius, the boss, can really pose a challenge to any people just getting to this optional area, as well as just the regular ads. There is a wide variety of ads that you have to go through in this area. Coming up here in this entrance are, I don't even know what a person would call these, like mosquito bloodsucker.
I at least like to think of them as extremely large ticks.
Yeah, like they extreme. I mean, yeah, that's actually a pretty good word for them.
And
Large
sometimes I feel like they're right outside my house too, especially after a rainy day.
Oh yeah.
Too bad I don't have any blue elixirs. So
Just pop a blue elixir, no mosquitoes, no ticks, no nothing. If only.
But yeah, Nattie's making his way through Canehurst Castle, which is kind of a different. It's on its own little entity, a different, not connected to the main overworld, as you will.
Not like of the same theme is what you're kind of.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of has its own theme and setting, which is kind of neat. And a lot of people don't find this in the first playthrough. It's definitely you have to grab the summons, and it's very cryptic in the item description. And I remember back when I first played this, I had to look it up because I knew I couldn't decipher my little pea brain couldn't understand what was going on as far as where this carriage was supposed to show up, and then lo and behold, it comes out in the middle of this lane that the road ends in an ocean. I don't really understand how we get there, but I'm not here to ask questions. I'm just here to kill boss.
Just here to go fast. Yeah, as I was saying, or this whole walkthrough of the castle is what I mentioned before. One of the longer, if not the longest, correct me if I'm wrong, Peanut. I know there's not much to track of what is the longest run back in the game, but this has got to be.
It is arguably the longest. Having the run, if you had a Shadow's Death and running all the way back from that lamp, that's quite a jog in itself. Miko, if you die to him and having the run with no shortcuts, that's quite a long run back as well. But this one probably takes the cake as far as run backs, because it is just so much traversing of the area. And while you do unlock that ladder, it's still, you have to run through quite a bit of the level. And entering Ligarius now.
Martyr Ligarius.
Now, a big thing on this fight is pretty much making sure that he does not back up and stay wall or anything, because pretty much the strat is finishing him with an R2 or a backstab. And we've seen it in a few runs that he will get stuck, put his back, and not allow you to get the backstab, which a backstab allows you to skip his phase 2, which is a lot scarier, trust me. And yeah, pretty easy work by Nattie. So
as Nattie comes up to the final two boss, I'm gonna do another shout out to DJNattie and mamasouls. Please follow them. Two awesome streamers and just great people. So definitely check out their streams, as they're great runners, people, and awesome environment to be in.
Yes. All right.
This may be, for most people, the final boss in the but since we got to the umbilical cords, we'll be getting the super secret moon present final boss.
Yeah, as you that's another thing. A lot of people playthroughs because they don't know about the chords. But Nattie making quick work of Garamond.
Nice. Yeah, that was a good fight.
And you see him building up meter, and that's the reason he does that. Is a lot of you try to in a perfect utopian world where you get the perfect run, you kill both of these bosses on one pellet in 60 seconds. And those quick staggers are reason why. Very nicely dodged.
Yeah.
He'll hit you with the 1 HP attack. Drains you all the way down, and GG easy. And to finish the run, we quit out as soon as we get the echoes and time. That was quite a good run by Nattie.
And again, that real time up top is not what we base the runs off of. It's the in-game
time, which he will show it in momentarily.
Which is a 1:16:56.
Yes, that looks correct.
So a very good run.
Yes, obviously a little slower than a PB, but you take a few extra peach strats and for a tournament setting, but quite a good run.
Are we gonna try and get Nattie in here?
Yeah, we will do so. Give me a moment, and I will send him an invite.
Cool. Congratulations, Nattie, and again, yeah, I believe. Let me pull up the challenge. Get an update for everyone. The bracket. Will be going against Ping. And so far in round 2, we have one more round 1 race to do, and then we will be moving on to round 2.
Yes, we have. I believe Romanticore and Soulsborne are. I believe their match is going to be Tuesday.
Okay.
If everything goes according to plan, but don't quote me on that.
Congratulations, Nattie.
Yes, DJNattie.
Thank you. That run was in silico, guys. But actually, when I saw that spider pop up during ROM, I started giggling uncontrollably.
Oh, the solo spider?
Yeah. And I knew my pellet was going to run out, so I was in tears of laughter. Just I couldn't stop laughing, and I'm trying to hit the boss, and then I traded with it.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of set my mood for the rest of it. It was a pretty funny run. There's everything went wrong, and that was actually amazing.
Yeah, I definitely saw that spider, and I was like,
yeah,
spider, because you still hadn't gotten to the final combo after the stagger.
Yeah, well, I was more concerned about the meter because all the spiders were running away from me, so I don't know, I just rushed it. It was pretty funny though, definitely. Once I got, I think that only
then and you got the Nems rat, which was he did a Superman on you.
Yeah, that caught me off guard, and that's a good testament as to why elixirs really do nothing in Research Hall. Because I used an elixir on the way up, and I still got hit by that guy on the ladder. But I mean, I'm happy with everything except for Wet Nurse. I don't know what happened at Wet Nurse, but she just kept swiping him. My brain wasn't responding.
The camera angles were a little convoluted there as well,
yeah.
But she was a little over aggressive as well.
Yeah. Besides those instances, anything you felt was good in the run?
Yeah, definitely. So I did Lunarium key skip twice in a row. First to go down to ROM, then when I died and traded with that was to go back down. And then I got
first try lecture hall as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got good RNG on lecture hall skip, which is just like insanely lucky on my part. So that worked out really well. And I think like I tried to do the backup since I was down a pellet to early woods and go do early cleric. But I forgot I had to upgrade my weapon, so that was like a little slow. But I think outside of not jumping for cave skip, I wasn't really disappointed with anything. At the start though, my fan was on, and my hands were really cold. So when I died to the bagman, I like sprinted to the back of my room, turned off the fan, and then sprinted back to keep playing because yeah, my hands were so cold. I was like shaking.
Quick little mid sprint.
Speedrunning in the game and real life. Who can stop this mad lad?
Who?
But yeah,
very
definitely
nicely done, Natty.
unfortunate to Mama though. She was playing really well, I think.
Yeah,
and-
absolutely.
Yeah, she lost the Echoes to Nightmare Frontier, which is definitely a large hurdle.
Yeah, I think that's probably the scariest part of a race, in my opinion. Like I'm even like though I do it no problems, like 100% of the time these days. There's still that bit in my mind, even especially because I was carrying so many echoes because I went and got all the extra and I did the summons and I went and did it the same, and I was like, if I screw this up, I'm like so done. So it seems like it doesn't happen a lot, but it can actually happen quite often. I think I've lost at least like 10 or more runs just to like walking off that edge too fast or things like that.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know, but very well done, Natty. Your next round, you're going against Pinkman, who
My boy, yeah.
You guys have been having some nice competition lately on the leaderboard.
Yeah, we got a history. Me and P Zinkman. We'll go.
Feels pink, man.
Yeah, it feels very pink, man. I'm actually looking really forward to that.
It will be.
That was awesome.
Very good match. I mean, you guys have pretty comparable times, and both 107s. So that's going to be a very good matchup.
Be awesome.
Yeah.
Do we have what's next? Just to let I believe it's you, Peanut. Hattie versus Curious Peanut. Tomorrow? No, Monday.
It'll be Monday.
Monday, 10 p.m. Eastern time. So
yeah,
watch out for that.
Watch out for Hattie wiping me the floor. We're gonna give it a shot. So, anywho,
you never know.
Yeah, thanks again, Natty. Great job, and we'll see you on your next round.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good night.
Have a good night, guys.
And thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this iteration of the Bloodborne Tournament first round. And we've got many more matches upcoming in this coming weeks.
Just a reminder too that this is double elimination as well.
Yes, and this is double elimination. So Mama's not out.
Nope. And there's a whole nother bracket, so there is a chance for anyone to get back into the championship.
That's very nice, and there's a prize pool this year, so people are gunning for it.
Yeah, people want that. Lastly, again, follow DJNattie, mamasouls, and thank you so much to you, Curious Peanut. Give him a follow. An awesome co-commentator and a great runner as well. Catch him running Monday. All right.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day or evening.
All right. See you guys.